Hello and welcome to Daily Game Design. There's some kind of wild stuff going on with Sugar Shack, so I'm still kind of imagining things, still trying to get my feet under me with this different idea. So anyway, it feels fresh. It feels like there's some potential here. I'm not trying to get too excited. In general, the game has never really struck me as like, wow, this is really working. This is really fun. This is really interesting. And what I'm hoping with some of these, with this recent idea, I think it was as of yesterday, that can make some progress with, just developing a sense of tension, a sense of interesting choices, a good sense of flow. I don't know. I really don't want Sugar Shack to be a dead end. I've enjoyed working on this game. I've worked on it quite a lot over the past year and a half, almost. And I would really love to see it come to fruition, come to fruit. Sugar Shack, what a great little setting, quaint. The the wonder of spring. I just think, yeah, it'd be really nice if this worked. So, well, let me catch you up a little bit. Is there anything else before I get into this? What did I play last night? Played Misfit Heroes. It's a card crafting type game. It's a tab now. That's like the metagame part of it. There are these cards that are basically combinations of a clear sleeve with a character and then another card behind it with some other ability. I forget what they call it. But there's like a background image and then it pairs, the two get paired together, and so you're likely to have unique combinations game to game, even because at the end of the game you switch out some cards with other to make other combinations. It's a tableau building thing. Like Dean said last night, it gives some castle combo vibes, and that's right. You're just building out a tableau, 4x4 tableau of cards. And some of those cards interact with each other. Some of those cards check for other cards in the tableau or give instructions about where you can activate, whether you can activate other cards or something like that. So it was okay. Not complicated. I would play it again. And then we played Compile. Compile, I was surprised by. This was me and Dean after we went over to Armchair. Anyway, that was a neat little experience. Usually, I feel like lane battlers are kind of hard for me to get my head around. This one, it was pretty clever, and yeah, it felt like a fair amount of depth without like the card effects being overwhelming and difficult to understand or difficult to calculate. Anyway, it was a nice time. Just good to be with friends. So, well, here I am with Sugar Shack. Let me catch you up now. So what you have here is this central square of meeple locations. And what I'm thinking is, well, I had kind of two thoughts. One was, let's say I place a guy here. What I'm doing is I'm activating the hardware store. If I move him here, then I get to activate the Grange. We don't know what it does yet, but I get to activate the Grange and activate the community projects. Well, that's actually like movement, right? But I kind of think that could get weird, could maybe get complicated or confusing if you get other meeples involved. Like here, well, I don't know. let's say I place this guy. Let's say I place this guy to use the warehouse. Okay. My next turn, I slide this guy over here, and this is a different type of connection that the other one I was considering. It's the actually, wait a second. So it'd be place this guy and slide this guy to take advantage of the Grange. Slide him again to take advantage of the farmer's market. So does he just kind of, do you want to just keep him dancing around like this? What if the other way to do it is to move, and you only get the bonus when you are across from each other, when you basically surround this icon. So in other words, you kind of get the bonus like every couple turns potentially, or you could come jump down here. Or let's say he was here, now he jumps down here and gets this bonus. Now this guy jumps over here, gets this bonus, right? And so you might have this circling again. Except that other people are going to get involved. So this guy's here, and he goes here. Now what does red do? The other thing is, when this is assuming that you can have 3 of your meeples, right? What does this guy do? Because I think if you ever, like, let's say you like control a corner, I think there should be a bonus here. Like I put money over there. Let's say, for instance, that this guy does this. This guy opens up and then allows this guy to go here. And then, so it goes here, gets the bonus, gets this and this bonus. Well, then this guy goes here, right? Gets this and whatever this bonus is going to be. Now what does blue do? Can blue do this? And I guess red would jump in here. Now blue might feel obligated to jump here. I wonder if it would ever really happen. Like this guy's not going to leave, right? So what you could do is, I guess there could be a bump, but then the bump would need to be very lucrative. And what I'm thinking is, just like I've been thinking with bumping right now, is that would actually help the blue player run their Sugar Shack like super efficiently or something like that. So it would be this kind of dance with 2 meeples at first. So this guy goes here, this guy goes here, this guy goes here, this guy goes here. Maybe there. It's tough because I think this, like the logistics, the calculation of this, I don't want to dominate the game. Like it already feels like it could. Like essentially there will become moves. Right, okay, let's see if I can reason through anything like this. I probably can't, even though I play a lot of chess. Okay. So if so somebody has to leave the square. And let's make the rule that you cannot move the same meeple twice in a row. Because that's a possibility. That could be interesting. So let's say we'll move this guy. So you can't move the same meeple twice in a row. Okay. Well, once he leaves, then blue is going to get this. So let me go back. So it's red. Red moves away first. So this is like basically like a Zugzwang thing where red is going to be at a disadvantage because red has to leave the square first. So red leaves, does something. Blue leaves. Now red has to leave that square. Blue gets this bonus here. Now red gets the bonus. Okay. Now red gets the bonus. Now blue has to leave first, so blue leaves. Now red jumps in. Now blue jumps in. Now red has to leave. Blue jumps in. Red jumps in. Now blue has to leave. Red jumps in again, gets the bonus. No. No. Cannot move the same one twice. I don't think I'll be able to remember that, probably. Also, what do you do with an extra worker now? Anyway, I kind of like this. Something like area control. Yeah, there's something interesting here. Potentially, right? So what other I guess the thing is realizing that it kind of needs to be the case that like this place doesn't make as much sense with this format because you're really not going to go here very much. Right? You're also not going to go to the town hall very much. So it really becomes this dance of taking benefits and bonuses. So these are going to be like these are going to be the high demand spots, right? In this model. So I feel like the um the high value places then should be in the corners. Or maybe oh wait. Oh wait. Um hmm. What if one of these locations becomes the Sugar Shack? Don't hurt me. Let me go find the Sugar Shack. Wait, is it a vertical card now? Maybe it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's this. Right. So let me grab the Sugar Shack icon. Okay, so I'm going to drop, that's not what I wanted. I'm going to drop this guy in here. Just set him off to the corner, right? And I think the taps are pretty much happening all the time. So every time I move, I think I run the taps and then I move, right? So let's think of it that, did I get rid? Okay. Run the taps and then move. Here's what I was thinking for the Grange. What if the Grange now becomes like cred for the grant office? What if it lets you drop cubes in any one of these three areas? Like what if let's say I activate the Grange. Where can I find a cube? Right here. Okay, let's say I activate the Grange and I drop a cube here. That's not what I meant. That's not where I meant to be. Okay. So activate the Grange is blue, drop a cube here. Now I can also go here and fill this up. I could do that. And, or let's say I could, if this was open, then I could, let's say this is the situation. Then I jump here. Now I drop a cube in because of the Grange. And I also play any number of cubes. So is there a point to doing that? Maybe not. Maybe not, right? Huh. Maybe you come here to gain the income. I don't know. The Grange could be just to send cubes up here. Or maybe I just need to reimagine the whole system. Yeah, what if it's just charging stuff for the grant office? I'll be right back. Okay, what I was just thinking was that one use of... Oh no. I think what I can do is something like this. So just move this to the top, move everything here to the top. Now go to layers and just get rid of all of these. Okay. Okay, and then I was thinking to drop the Grange in here. Okay, that's not gonna work. Let's fill this somehow. They're meant to represent the cubes somehow. Let me just do that for now. I don't know what this quirky little building is, but I really like it. I think it was actually the shape of it that made me think of the term Grange. I want to say Grange was in like this book of scary stories my dad used to... What was it for Path? What was that for? I feel like for camping trips or something like that. We used to have... There was this book with I remember, I think there was a story about a hand. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure Grange was the first... It was the first time I heard that word was from that book. And in my understanding, Grange is just a community center. So I think, I mean, a place where kind of business and politics kind of happens. Okay, how do I get at that? It's just a really creepy sounding word. It always has been for me, and I'm not sure why. Is this grouped? It's not. Okay. So I need this to be... Oh, what are you doing? Copy this pretty much. I feel like whenever I hear that click, I don't know if you could hear that. But when I hear that click, I feel like somebody's shooting at a chicken, or a rooster. But there are no roosters these days, which is amazing. That is very welcome. Uh-oh, that's a similar color. Oh, why did that happen? So there really ought to be a choice here. So whether you send your cube up to the whether you send your cube up here to the grant office or to the corporate partner. So what would you be doing at the corp for the Yeah, I don't think this should be possible. I think you probably just get your income, right? Or what else would you want from the corporate partner? This kind of brings back, why are you sitting off to the side and there's no way to scroll? How do I mark? Okay. Income is like this. I think I might need a more lucrative because they are going to want to go here anyway. And the reason is because, oh wait, what did I just make all the changes? Why did I leave this here? Okay, because the Grange and the market were not involved yet. Okay. So I think there's no cost. Or should there be a cost? Interesting. Oops. Okay, now we need the income symbol, which is right here. Oh, I can just grab this. Get rid of this guy. This will be 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 4 again? Yeah, I don't think you should ever be making more than 4. At least that doesn't feel right to me. This becomes 3, and then we'll just keep it like this. And this is 1. Hi, Francisco. I think I'm coming up with some potentially interesting things. I still can't really tell, unfortunately. What's on your agenda today? Podcast for a YouTuber now getting back to Dobrin's dungeon. Nice. I think I have to have a dedicated card for people to track the enemy's stats. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I think friction reduction is a real thing. So it sounds useful that you were able to identify some friction, or that your players were able to express that for you. Yeah, it seems like a good thing. I'm kind of thinking there's going to be an overflow of sap, or I mean syrup now. So I kind of don't really know what to do with that. Because I had these buildings as like outlets for, like, corporate partner is an outlet for a large amount, for a large number of cubes. But now what I'm experimenting with is that you place a cube or that you may place a cube when you surround the Grange. So right now blue could place a cube right here. Or blue could place a cube up in the grant office. So I don't know that that will be a very tense choice, but hopefully it feels like a choice. And up in the grant office, then you would, discard the four cubes back to the supply for a special ability. So hopefully that seems cool. Here in the corporate partnership, you build up a relationship with a corporate partner, and then whenever you visit, then that's when you get a kickback, and eventually you can get a trophy up there. But eventually it will be, oh no, I guess it won't be a dead space because you'll always be getting money from there when you go there, so that's okay. This would definitely become a dead space. Except that I'm adding these bonuses. I feel like this is at least gonna be interesting to experiment with, adding these bonuses. So if you surround, why is there so much more room in this one? Huh. Oh, these are different heights. What if oh, it does work. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's right. Oh, I guess it was okay to leave it because this is not a square surface. I mean a square plane, square board. So maybe it was actually okay to just leave it. But let's see. Oops. So what's going to be your next event? Like event to playtest or demo or something like that? Okay. I think RageCon is in June. I just can't imagine. I could have the money if I figure out some of these, some like corporate training stuff very quickly. I could have a little money for it. Hmm. PAX West. Does PAX West have like a pretty strong Unpub presence? Well, I guess you are published. So would you get a booth or something? Okay, what else could go in these corners here? Hmm. I'm just now thinking that this should not. Huh. Oh, okay. It's a little bit odd that I think I just barely have the scaling wrong for what I'm trying to do. But I made it this way so that the meeples and the boxes are like similar to being the right size for cubes, but I wonder if I should just shrink everything a little bit. Okay, what I was just thinking, I think the places where you would want to go regularly should be out at the corners. So you would want to go to the corporate. Oops, what happened there? This didn't get grouped for some reason. Okay. I think the corporate partner is a place where you would go regularly because then you're just making money. So it's like an easy thing. Just show up there and get your 4 or 5 money. So I think it should be kind of out of the way. And then the places where you're less likely to need them, those are the ones where you're sending guys pretty regularly. Maybe this fits up here better. Nope. This one, sadly, there's not much room for it, but it's a little more like what I was describing than. Oh, I guess this doesn't have to be arranged like this. Is it time for the gift shop to change? That's also possible. Well, I have plenty of room this way, so I think I can just do this. It'll be okay. Hmm. This could be really small again. Hmm. Actually, I'm wondering if the grant office, because you don't need either of these very often, so I think with more space, it'd be nice to have the grant office down here. Community projects, cool. Hmm. How's the warehouse doing over here? The warehouse, on the other hand, is something that, well, it's also not. Hmm. The warehouse, there's not a great reason to go because once it's full for a while. Oh, hang on, I am getting a phone call. Hi, this is Scott. Okay, good news. Oh, interesting. I have a plumber coming by to fix my hot water, which is very good news. Okay, so what's going on here? Is this interesting at all? Um, Hmm. Okay, what's the implication for the Sugar Shack now? That's also a major question. Town Hall is probably going to change. Hopefully there are some cool ideas for that. Hmm. And I also think this means that in order I can move anywhere along this, like throughout this little grid, this map thing, um, and choose to activate the location. Um, like I gain this bonus, but I still can choose whether or not to activate the place I move to. In other words, my focus might be, let's say for example, this is the case. So even if I don't want to activate the gift shop, I might be interested in the Grange. So I could still place over here on the gift shop, or I might be interested in like setting up a big move over here um, for the Sugar Shack. So not sure I love the Sugar Shack being over here, but it's an interesting idea maybe. Huh. And then what would the Sugar Shack be up to? It's also cool. Whoa. This is not even close to centered. Okay. Does it have to be? For Francisco, it should be. Hmm. Centered. My good friend Eric has an expression where he says no, well, nothing is too fine for the servants of the Lord. That's what he says. And I love it. I think it's a really fun expression. Cuz he sort of jokes when like church leaders gather at like a really nice place for meetings and stuff. With stuff like that. No thing is too fine for the servants of the Lord. I feel like that's a little bit more. He's joking in a way, but I think that's also an interesting idea that there's no reason. I guess we could be wasteful. I don't know. There is definitely reason to be careful about how we move money around. But it is nice when pastors and teachers and whoever else is like pretty mission oriented, mission minded. It's nice when we can also take care of them with something fancy every now and then. They don't need it, but it's a nice treat is kind of cool. Hmm. I think temporary workers are gone. Like, now what do we do? What does a temporary worker do? Yeah, we're kind of losing quite a bit by doing this, but hopefully, or with this different play style where you're just moving meeples around. Like, when would you ever need to recall them? What's really nice about the Sugar Shack being in here, with um, thinking through that situation before where there was kind of a dance where the meeples would just be sort of rotating around to take advantage of these bonuses. Having the Sugar Shack out here in the corner forces them to break up that arrangement. And in this case, I feel like you should be able, if this is going to happen, I feel like you should be able to move the same meeple as often as you want. So you could just leave one at the community projects. Maybe. I don't know. I still think it's kind of hard. It could be hard to remember that you moved this one so that you have to move this one, and because you moved this one, now you have to move this one. I feel like that could be a little difficult to remember. And so you could just park a meeple here, knowing that your friend is going to want to. Oh, you know what? Oh, huh. So having your meeple, so a player could park their meeple, right? But I think that also means that we should make the places uh, interesting that are most important. Those should be out on the corners. Because if you want to park your meeple, that means you're not involved in, at least in the start of the game, you're not involved in this dance here in the center. But how do I know? I think I don't know how to know which ones are most important. Because you're not going to use the hardware store that often. That's why I had it sitting here. It's because this is not going to be an in-demand location very much. It will be occasionally. Same thing with community projects. They're not going to be in demand a whole lot. The town hall, same. Like, you're not going to be resolving a town hall card that often. Gift shop, on the other hand, is a place you might want to go to drop off cubes. I don't know. I don't know how to think about this part. Oh, the other thing is the mayor's going to be around. So the mayor's going to mess everything up. So here's the mayor. Oh, it was red. Okay, here's the mayor. So the mayor, when the mayor card pops up, he's going to be sitting over here at the grant office. Well, that is going to be a serious problem. You can still have 3 of everything, though. Right? You can still have this area control thing. Or what if somebody parks in front of the Sugar Shack? Which I think they definitely would do. So we need a good rule for bumping. Yeah, it gives you more opportunity to place something. That's what I'm not sure about. What is that something? It's kind of wild to just completely just with a wave of the hand essentially eliminate the market and the Grange. I mean, they still exist on some level because what do they do? I guess I'm not sure yet, but well, I think I know what the Grange does. I'm not sure exactly what the market does. It might just be a little money maker. It's probably that. It's probably just a money maker. Do we need workers to make the syrup? So this is the current system. Let me go to it. So there was a worker here to transfer the syrup from the evaporator to storage. So I still think that is important. And I do think that's what bumping does, is it sends them down to the Sugar Shack. But what does the Sugar Shack do if it's a location then? I think what it does you know what? It could just be that bumping is a stronger version of the action. Let me try to illustrate that. So then that's why you might want an extra worker to transfer from the evaporator. Maybe. But I almost think that rather than, okay, so maybe I just open up TTS. So what I'm thinking of doing is just bringing this over, actually. Okay, I can drop this in. Did it? Okay, here it is. Can you just get the size a little closer? So let's say this is the action, except that this stuff is gone. It's just this single. What was that? Yeah. So it's a weaker version of the evaporator action or whatever. This is the transfer action. It's just a weaker version of it. So if you were to go here, let's say you go here, you just move stuff to the evaporator. Sorry, from the evaporator to storage. However, if somebody bumps you, oh, this doesn't make any sense either. I was going to say if somebody bumps you, then you get bumped down here, and then you just do it again. But why would you want to do it again if you literally just did it? It would get you an income, but what else could you do? No, that's not quite right. Wait, because there are two actions. There are two kind of Sugar Shack-ish actions. Let me go to the other one. There's the taps. Here are the taps. So one thing to do when you're bumped. Okay, here's TTS actually. This is the most recent one. So presently, one thing to do when you're bumped is to either go into the Sugar Shack and run the transfer from the evaporator to the storage, or you get bumped down and you do the taps. So you run the taps for an extra cube. It's just that what I was just thinking is like, let's say you're camping here, so then the other player bumps you. This is the sugar in our grid. This is the Sugar Shack up here. So you just placed. So you moved your meeple over here, and in doing that, you moved these cubes up here. Okay, then somebody bumps you. Of course, you wouldn't necessarily go down here because there are no cubes here. You just moved them. So you would go over here to add another cube directly from the sugar bush over here to the evaporator. The problem is I don't know that this is a true choice. Like, I think you would pretty much always go here. So that's not even a real, if you had just emptied your evaporator and then they bump you, you would go here for sure, right, to get more cubes going. Then at the start of your next turn, you would start this, and then you would move somewhere, hopefully dump all these, right? And at any time, well, let's say too that instead of bumping, what you could do instead of bumping this guy, so here's red, and red is connected to, I could download it just to make it easier to understand. Okay, so if this is the grid then. What I was just thinking is that instead of extra workers, you could do like take an extra Sugar Shack action or something like that, or an extra Grange action. Yeah, maybe that's it. Because another thing I was thinking about is having the taps action. Like, what if I had... Ooh. This might be unclear, but I'll put it here just in case, or just as an example. So I could put the taps action right in here. So that when you surround this space, you get an extra action like that. And that could be kind of neat, I guess. Okay, so here's blue, and red's out here too. Okay, so they start with these. They've got these meeples out here. Okay, and red, their third is over here. Okay, red wants to... Okay, red bumps here. Oh, wait a second. Okay, blue moves in here, moves these guys. Red bumps blue, red bumps blue, blue comes down here and runs the taps. Of course, I'm not, but red has done this over here. Because they took the Sugar Shack action. Let's start. I'm going to start also doing the taps stuff at the start of the turn. Okay, so blue's turn. Run the taps. Do they just bump again right away, or do they go somewhere else? Well, obviously they bring this guy out. What am I doing with cubes now? There are just fewer ways to use cubes, unfortunately. Well, we've got the Grange, so I can take a cube and place it. Let's say I place it here. No, I guess not technically. I think we still have... Okay, and then I could have claimed a space here if I had the money. I don't, so it's red's turn. Red takes this. And then let's say red... Let's say red comes down here, gets the money. Let's say it's still 3 money. And they don't use the hardware store, but they just wanted to get that money from the market. Okay, blue's turn. Blue runs the taps. Okay, they're not going to get a Grange action, so we'll just do this then and move these up. Okay, back to red. Red's got to find a place for all these cubes. So red goes here, takes a Grange action, which is, let's say they're powering up their special ability. Okay, Francisco, thanks for hanging out. Rest well. See you soon. Yeah. I think I'm also pretty close to being done for the day. So blue just went there. What does red want to do? Red starts their turn like this. Red needs to spend some. Okay, red can go like this. Spend a cube. Spend a cube for 3 more money. And no community partnership, not this time. What if they could interact with either location? There's nowhere to go, so they can always come back. Like, where does this guy want to go? Nowhere, right? This would be an empty turn, a completely empty turn. And that's not going to feel good. So I think every placement should have something that they can do. I think this is interesting. I do like it better than going somewhere for the market. But this is crazy. Like, what would he do to set up something useful? So what would need to be true here? Anyway, I think we'll need some more ideas for another day. Anyway, thanks for joining. Thanks for hanging out. I'm glad to see something feeling like progress. Who knows if there's a breakthrough here or not. Yeah, but always good to be with you. Have a productive day. Bye-bye for now.